Hello, this is Matt on the Moon Lambo channel. There's an official document from Ripple indicating that they intend to keep 25% of the total supply of XRP, and could it potentially be forever? Well, look, we'll get into it, but I just gotta tell you at the outset here, there's a little bit of a problem with this. And the reason that I'm even making a video about this, to be clear, is because this has circulated just from one account. It's been reposted, I don't even know how many times, but just from one account, it's been seen about 250,000 times. And so when something like that, which is misleading people, is circulated that heavily, I feel a bit of an obligation to talk about it, given that this is an XRP-centric channel. Then there's also this headline: Strategy buys 20,356 Bitcoin for almost $2 billion. Holdings approach 500,000 Bitcoin. And so, since we're going to be talking a little bit about whales holding XRP, why don't we talk about whales holding Bitcoin too? It'll be a killer time. But before going further, I do want to be clear, I do not have a financial background of any kind. I am not offering financial advice, and you definitely should not buy or sell anything because of anything I say or write. I'm just an enthusiast who enjoys making YouTube videos about crypto-related topics, but just as a hobby and just for fun. And so it is true that there is an official document from Ripple stating that they intend to hold 25% of XRP, but like I said, there's a little problem with that, and that's why the headline from the Crypto Basic reads as follows: document saying Ripple will retain 25% of XRP supply, no longer relevant. And what they're covering here is this post from an XRP community member named, I don't know, is it pronounced Zaif? X-A-I-F, Zaif? Zaf? I don't know, one of those maybe. And so he simply wrote the following: crazy update, XRP. Ripple announced that 25% of XRP will be retained by them. This is great for sustainability in the future. This means that there will only be 75 billion coins available in circulation, equivalent to burning 25% without actually having to do it. Super bullish, hashtag XRP. And this has been seen, you can see, about 250,000 times. Look at that right there. 249,300 views since yesterday. So it'll probably just keep circulating further, and then there are other people talking about it and believing this makes sense. So what does it say? Well, the relevant portion is here at the bottom, and this is a very real document, which I shall prove to you, but the relevant portion reads as follows, and this is from Ripple. Ripple Labs plans to retain 25% of all XRP issued to fund operations and hopefully turn a profit, and distribute the rest to incent the participation of market makers, gateways, and consumers to utilize the protocol. Given that there is a finite number of XRP, as demand for XRP grows, the value of XRP should appreciate. In this manner, Ripple Labs believe that its incentives are aligned with those of protocol's users. Both want the protocol to reach its full potential and scale. So there's a lot that can be said about this. First, just let me state that the way that Zaif took this, and stating it's equivalent to burning 25% of the supply. They said that they're going to retain 25% of XRP. They did not say how long. Would it be a day, a month, a year, a decade? They didn't say that. It's not equivalent to burning it. You know, it's not the same thing. It's not like it's being removed from circulation. That's not what that means. If they wanted to do that for some sort of strange reason, kind of like, you know, the Stellar Lumens folks did, they burnt a bunch of XLM. Well, then you burn it, you know, if that's what you actually want to do here. But no, that's not what that said. That's not what that means. It would have been for some period of time. But here, the problem you can see, as former Ripple employee Matt Hamilton highlighted, just yesterday he wrote, update? Because again, Zaif said that this is an update. Crazy update XRP. Matt Hamilton says, update? This is taken from a document dated 2014, over a decade ago. Please stop with this nonsense. Now, I think that this guy must know better. Sometimes, you know, it's reasonable to give people the benefit of the doubt here. But this guy was definitely checking his replies. He replied to tons and tons of people well after Matt Hamilton said, hey, this is from a decade ago, stop it with this nonsense. Didn't respond to Matt Hamilton because that's not a winning proposition to him, but this guy responded to everybody else, which makes me suspicious. It makes me think maybe he knows what he was doing here. He knows that he's engagement farming effectively. That would be my best guess here, because it's still up. He didn't delete it. He didn't address what Matt Hamilton said. And Matt Hamilton got 159 likes, including mine. He saw, which, by the way, every time one of those pops up, it shows up in the guy's feed. So it's that much more likely that he'd see it. And it's not like he has like a crazy monstrous account. He's got 6,581 followers. So it's not like he'd be so overwhelmed by all the notifications from other stuff that he wouldn't have seen it. So this guy's choosing to keep it up because he's getting a bunch of likes. He's getting talks. But now, because he's done this, now I feel obligated to clean up the mess, which kind of burns my biscuits, son. Now, if it were genuine and he just didn't know better, okay. But this is from 2014. Like, here's the actual document. You can see the date. This is the PDF, November 2014. The Ripple Protocol, a deep dive for finance professionals. And you scroll on down to page 17. Sorry, I'm going to pass it a little bit, and you will see it is right here. Look at that right there. 25% of XRP. So again, even though this is real and they did write that, they didn't promise to never sell 25% of XRP. This is not remotely relevant anymore. In fact, you want to know the most recent XRP distribution plan from Ripple? I've got it pulled up. I'm going to show it to you. Now, here's the thing, though, and I got to tell you this. It's also old. The most recent thing I've ever that I've seen from Ripple on this topic of XRP distribution and their plans for it, big picture, is from 2017. So even that is old. Now, I don't pretend to be a know-it-all, but I am in tune, and I haven't seen anybody else bring that up. If you know of anything that Ripple has stated publicly about the long-term distribution and plans for their XRP holdings, let me know. I will be happy to credit you and highlight it on my channel. But I don't think it exists, and I can understand why, frankly. It's not to Ripple's benefit, especially at this stage in the game, to be talking about that stuff. What's that going to be doing for them? I'm sure internally they've got some sort of idea of how they want to handle their XRP holdings and distribution over some period of time. But what's the benefit of being public about it? Back then, when nobody was even paying attention, you talk about whatever, but then you grow up and you see how the cryptosphere changes and how people react to headlines like that. I mean, my God, the amount of news that a story like that, if Ripple were to publicly state something like this again, would make. Like, it's a whirlwind, and is that even necessarily good for Ripple, the company? Kind of question mark there. But let me show you the latest, and I'm sure that to some degree this would have changed, but let me tell you at least what their plans were 3 years later to show you that this isn't true. Like, if the latest information we have is from 2017, okay, fine. But it already debunks this idea that just Ripple's just never going to sell 25% of the XRP forever. And it comes from this piece. This is from Ripple's website. This is their blog series called Ripple Insights. Here you can see the headline, May 16th, 2017, forever ago. Back then, I didn't even know XRP existed back then, unfortunately. It wasn't until November that year I jumped in, but here's the headline, Ripple to place 55 billion XRP in escrow to ensure certainty of total XRP supply. And I'm sure that pretty much all of you listening, unless you're brand new, are aware that Ripple is holding the vast majority of their XRP in escrow so that because of the security of the system from a cryptographic perspective, they literally, even if they wanted, they cannot take that XRP out of any accounts that they have it in. It's literally locked. There's nothing Ripple, the company, can do about it. And then a certain amount is released each month, and then the vast majority of that is locked back up into a new escrow each month, and so it's revolving in that sense. So I don't need to read the article. Let me show you the chart, though. I've highlighted this on my channel before. It's just been a really long time. But look at what the plans were in 2017. They had a 30-year plan for the distribution of XRP, their holdings of XRP, dating back 8 years ago, just about. Look at this. So here you can see, here's the XRP distribution curve. That's what the chart's called. You can see your number of years passing at the bottom, XRP in circulation in billions on the left right there. So by year 30, and you can see it slows down towards the end of this, but by year 30, the plan was for them to have what? What would that have been like? 7% of the total supply of XRP, something like that. It probably would have been like, just use your eyes. You can kind of gauge it there. It's probably would have resulted in XRP holdings of Ripple being only about 7% of total supply, way less than what they have right now. And it's actually a little bit slower than what they had projected in 2017. So you can see it probably landed more like what, down here, because the circulating supply of XRP is like, I think it's actually about 58 billion right now. So that would have put it right about here 8 years later. So actually, yeah, so right about here. So they're well short of what they were projecting at the time. But who knows what internally they're thinking? Maybe part of it was a factor, the degree to which the market was suppressed, because I mean, frankly, the more demand, the more XRP, the more demand there is for XRP, and the more trading volume, so on and so forth, the more Ripple can reasonably sell. But you don't want to flood the market. There's a reason that Ripple sells, over any given time period, like a fraction of a percent of XRP into the market. It's so that they don't, in any sort of detectable way, move the price of XRP, which is pretty responsible. That makes sense. So they were projecting this, but they also didn't know that there's going to be an SEC attack. And I think that it's, since the price of XRP has been artificially suppressed by the government to some unknowable degree, that's probably a major factor. Maybe this curve would have been closer to correct if not for that. Also, maybe they changed some of what they thought, some of their thinking behind this, and like, well, okay, we'll change it for so-and-so reason. I don't know. Like, I would be very curious to hear what they're thinking. They're never going to talk about that publicly, though. But all this to say, their plan was to get down to probably about 7% of holdings, according to this, after 30 years. And it's not like they just stopped selling forever even after that. It would just slow down. So this idea that 25% was going to be held forever, wrong. We knew that for sure. This is not me speculating. This is for sure true as of 2017. So I don't know what their thinking is now, but they are continuing to sell, as makes sense. So that figure, what do you say, about 7%? You know what is interesting about that 7% figure? Did you know that currently the two largest Bitcoin holders are holding collectively a little over 7% of the Bitcoin supply? Blasphemy. Are we even allowed to talk about this? Are Bitcoin maximalists allowed to talk about this? But MicroStrategy, which recently rebranded to just Strategy, they, in conjunction with what Satoshi Nakamoto holds, that it comes out to over 7% of the holdings. And that's probably just going to get bigger. So, and that's why this is so rich. Like when they rip on Ripple, for holding so much XRP, and knowing that Ripple's actually their holdings are going down. Meanwhile, their whales over here, like specifically MicroStrategy, now Strategy, they're increasing the supply. So that's cool. That's okay to have a big whale over on the Bitcoin side, but you're going to make fun of it and say it's bad. And XRP is an S-word coin because there's some, Ripple's a big XRP holder. It's just so disingenuous. And I understand Ripple's holding a lot more percentage-wise, but look directionally where it's going. And it's not like the market's getting flooded anyway. And so ultimately, when those levels do even out in the coming decades, what's your argument even then? Toxic Bitcoin maxi bros, what's your argument then? It's just so disingenuous. It's intellectually dishonest and lazy. That's why it bothers me. And so anyway, here is the post from Michael Saylor. I don't even need to read the whole thing. He just bought even more Bitcoin, now holds almost 500,000 Bitcoin. Now, mind you, the max supply ever will be 21 million. And Satoshi Nakamoto has over 1 million. So that's 1.5 million between those two right there, out of a max supply of 21 million. That's just a boatload. So anyways, Strategy has acquired 20,356 Bitcoin for $1.99 billion at $97,514 per coin. Okay. So kudos to him for having the conviction he has. Well and good. But the reason I thought I'd bring it up is because the toxic Bitcoin maxis give us crap. Well, it's time to push back and use logic, data, facts, reason, all that stuff to do so. Here's XRP community member Crypto Arsenal sharing that Michael Saylor post, and here's what he said. At least with Ripple's XRP, it's all visible on-chain, and the majority locked in escrows. Where's Michael Saylor's Bitcoin visibility on-chain? Why hasn't he locked them in escrow to show he won't dump it all, if it even exists? Talk about Fort Knox. Verify your Bitcoin, Michael Saylor. Yeah, very good point. So the XRP that Ripple holds, the vast majority of it literally can't be dumped on the market. Here we don't even technically know for sure that Michael Saylor holds what he says the company has. Now, I have no reason to believe that's not true. That's not the point, though. Where's the proof of reserves? Why aren't you doing that? And furthermore, why are you not locking it in escrow? Why aren't you finding a way to do that? Because he says that he's not going to sell it. Why aren't you making it impossible to sell then if you're 100% sure? because that's what you do if you're 100% sure to calm the market, because you're a whale. You're the biggest, well, second biggest Bitcoin whale that there is. The only reason you wouldn't make sure that it's the case that it can't be sold is if you're not literally 100% sure that you're going to hold it forever. Duh. This is very obvious stuff here. So next time the toxic Bitcoin maxis start screaming about this crap, talk about how over 7% of the supply is held by two entities, Strategy and Satoshi Nakamoto. And you can't give me a 100% guarantee that Satoshi won't pop up one day and just start unloading. You cannot guarantee that. I don't know that it's probable, but, let enough time pass and there's this sense of security, but is it a false sense of security? I literally don't know. Isn't that a bit bothersome? Because that's a substantial portion of the supply. You could absolutely move the market. Market would freak out. There'd be tons of panic. Even just like a fraction of one of those Bitcoin moves from one of those old wallets, the global markets would freak out. You'd probably have a massive sell-off. So anyway, just want to share with you some general thoughts on this. But no, Ripple's plan obviously is to continue distributing over a long period of time. We don't know exactly what that looks like. They're a private company. They don't have to tell us. But maybe we'll get some more insight into that if they do become public, which they probably will at some point. I don't know to what degree they talk about that specifically publicly. But of course they're going to keep selling. Why the hell wouldn't they? They have an asset that's appreciating, more demand coming in. Of course, take a reasonable amount of profit over time, which is what they've been doing. Ain't no problem, son. But yeah, this Zafe guy and all this, it's just misleading. I don't like it when people do this. I think he knows better. I think this guy absolutely knows what he's doing, and it's for engagement, and it worked. He got 250,000 views here, and it's just a shame. You hate to see it. I'm not a financial advisor. You should not buy or sell anything because of anything I say or write. That would be a very, very, very bad idea. Until next time, to the moon, Lambo.